Today on Investigate TV Plus, a potential danger may be powering a device likely inside your home right now.
It was really perplexing that was the source.
Lithium-ion batteries are rechargeable and mostly reliable, but they can also pose a danger.
I heard like a big pop, and I heard like a roaring fire sound after that, and that's when I realized it was bad.
We share a family's warning after back-to-back fires nearly cost them everything. Examine the phenomenon which causes these batteries to burn hotter and longer. Plus,
awareness is really the key thing that we can all do.
Provide solutions to reduce the fire threat.
Then, Alzheimer's disease affects memory and communication, but a creative form of therapy may ease these challenges for patients. We explore how artwork draws a bittersweet connection between patients and their caregivers.
Then, wading through history.
I don't feel that I own it. I feel that I've been lucky enough to live here.
A business owner finds inspiration from the shore she calls home.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
From children's toys to mobile phones and laptops, you can find lithium-ion batteries in a variety of devices used to power our everyday lives. While highly popular, lithium-ion batteries can also be volatile. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. When one catches fire, it poses a life-threatening danger because of a chain reaction known as thermal runaway. Thermal runaway can be triggered by a variety of factors such as physical damage, overcharging, manufacturing defects, or exposure to extreme heat. This video from the University of Texas Fire Research Group shows just how fast a lithium battery fire can ignite and quickly spread. Scientists say heat generated from the initial trigger increases the temperature inside the battery. The increasing pressure then causes the battery casing to rupture, releasing flammable toxic gases.
Reporter Ann Emmerich takes an in-depth look at the dangers, shares a Michigan family's experience with thermal runaway, and provides solutions to protect your home.
Lithium-ion batteries are in virtually every home, yet most of us don't give them a second thought.
I heard yelling. I heard my wife yelling, so I ran downstairs, had no idea what was going on.
I always check all the doors in our house before I go to bed, and I always also check the door that goes into the garage. And that night, I opened it up and I was not prepared for what I was about to see.
Hello, caller voice, there's a car in the garage that's smoking, and the garage is filled with smoke.
Thick black smoke poured from Rose Tantrafol and Scott Swanson's Meridian Township garage.
The smell was not something I was accustomed to. It smelled like chemicals.
I opened the door of my car and smoke just billowed out right into my face. It was hard to even see, inside the car.
They escaped and called 911.
When we found out it was a pair of headphones that just randomly caught on fire, I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
Their son's headphones left in the car unplugged on a hot summer night.
It was really perplexing that was the source. It's not something I even think of as having tech inside, really.
The device contained a lithium-ion battery that malfunctioned in what fire investigators call thermal runaway.
That thermal runaway means that the battery starts to heat itself up uncontrollably. And once one battery cell goes, then the rest of them start going along with it.
The car was totaled, but 12 days later,
A car advising that a battery exploded and is on fire.
Same family, different battery, this time inside the home.
And I heard what sounded like a kid's sparkler upstairs in my office. I heard a big pop, and I heard like a roaring fire sound after that. And that's when I realized it was bad. It was a bad fire.
Speed advisor advising this battery is also catching other things and on fire inside of the house.
Scott was home alone. A fire extinguisher didn't help.
And at that point, the smoke was really overwhelming. I was starting to cough, it was getting in my lungs. So I left and once again called the fire department.
Rose was out of state when she learned about the second fire.
My heart just dropped. It was very hard to reconcile how this was happening.
The cause? A portable battery pack purchased online.
The device wasn't being used, hadn't been charged in they don't know how long. Again, it went into that thermal runaway mode.
That office is now boarded up. Insurance is covering the costs, but the family had to move to an apartment while contractors repair damage from both fires.
There are no words to really describe just that shock of facing a second fire 2 weeks after the first one.
We're behind the 8 ball in terms of safety in some respects. We're getting our hands around the problem as best we can as we go along, but there's still a long ways to go.
For Rose and Scott, the numbers don't matter. They beat the odds twice.
For a few months after the fire, I just saw potential fires everywhere, like in my phone, in any sort of electric item that you have. They just all felt like potential explosives.
Awareness is really the key thing that we can all do. I'm aware of where all the devices that have lithium-ion batteries are in our home, in our office, and in our car.
The Battery Council International says lithium-ion batteries should have built-in systems to monitor voltage, temperature, and charge levels and shut down if there's a problem. But fire officials warn not all batteries are created equal. Look for the UL safety certification and don't overcharge or leave them plugged in.
If you notice a battery smoking, get out. You're past the point of being able to do anything about it at that point.
The fire marshal tells me regular fire extinguishers will not put out lithium-ion battery fires. And don't throw old batteries in the trash because they can spark fires at recycling centers, landfills, and garbage trucks. This is video from a waste facility in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. These charred items all had lithium batteries, some of which exploded. The solid waste director says many of these fires are preventable.
Please, goodness, never put them in your curbside bins, never put them in your curbside trash carts. They cause fires at our landfills, they cause fires at our material recycling facilities, and they cause millions of dollars worth of damage.
If you need to throw away an old lithium battery, take them to designated drop-off sites like hazardous waste collections or retailers like Staples. You can visit call2recycle.org to find a recycling spot near you. In Lansing, Michigan, I'm Ann Emmerich.
Meanwhile, Congress has tasked the Environmental Protection Agency with developing best practices for battery recycling and new battery labeling guidelines.
The EPA said Congress allocated $25 million for that project and set a deadline of September 2026.
Still to come, new mothers face a range of physical and emotional changes.
I mean, there's still things that scare me.
We examine the complicated time after childbirth and show you a program providing support during a woman's early motherhood journey.
But first, the art of memory care.
One time we had a display of art and she lit up and was ready to talk about it, and then she started telling other people about the art, and her husband had not seen that in her.
We explore how paintings can enrich the lives of Alzheimer's and dementia patients and potentially unlock memories.
Psychologists say happiness is built through connections. But when someone struggles to communicate, building and maintaining relationships can be challenging.
For a patient living with Alzheimer's disease, difficulties with language can sometimes lead to depression and isolation. One solution to reduce loneliness and provide an opportunity for self-expression is art therapy.
I'm gonna have you guys just draw some fun stuff.
At the Sunrise Senior Living Center outside St. Louis, seniors in the memory care unit create ornaments and vases. Sunrise Senior Living Activities Coordinator Kate Bellin says she's seen the positive effect it has on residents.
When the mind really starts to digress, it's really magical when you can see them looking at it and engaging and seeing that eye contact is just huge. And even the simplest thing like a smile is just huge, because sometimes that's hard to get out of them.
In South Carolina, History Museum has become a healing space for Alzheimer's patients.
Reporter Carrie Beal explores how the displays provide them with an emotional connection.
In the quiet halls of the Upcountry History Museum in Greenville, Joseph Storch finds solace.
Well, this is kind of in remembrance of my father.
Different exhibits can bring back memories, which for him are precious. 1 year ago, he was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's.
I would forget where I put down anything at a time. I couldn't keep things in order or organized.
Joseph isn't the only one finding comfort from relics of the past. It's why a monthly support group for Alzheimer's patients is held here.
The exhibits themselves stimulate the brain. We have a lady right now that's attending who is an artist, and one time we had a display of art, and she lit up and was ready to talk about it, and then she started telling other people about the art, and her husband had not seen that in her. So again, it was just a really aha moment for him to be able to see the value of the support group.
It turns out these historic pictures and scenes can bring back memories many thought were lost for good. Upcountry History Museum CEO Dana Thorpe describes one day when a husband and wife were here.
And at one point, the wife had to step out of the exhibition space so she could just cry. And our staff member, of course, concerned, engaged with her, and she said, no, they're happy tears. She said, on most good days, he doesn't even remember that we have adult children or that we had children. And in the Wizard of Oz exhibit space, he looked at his wife and said how he recalled taking their daughter to see the movie.
It's an emotional connection that is not only beneficial for the patients, the caretakers find strength and understanding in their shared journey as well.
It's another day out for me and for my husband.
Beyond support and memories, there's also something therapeutic about human connection.
It makes me feel good. I mean, I walk 15,000 steps about a day, and I tell people the first thing I try to do is, if I get to a point where I can get somebody to wave back at me or get a smile or whatever, my day's better.
Another emerging field takes what some may consider an unorthodox approach to Alzheimer's care.
I had 5 in 6.5 years.
A resident at a nursing home and memory care facility outside of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is holding baby Elizabeth, a doll that looks and feels similar to a real baby. For some, the sight of an older adult holding a doll could be confusing or even concerning, but the toy she's holding is part of a program called Baby Doll Therapy, or BDT. Program Outreach Director Verna Law says the doll helps some dementia patients recall happy moments from their long-term memory.
It is so effective. I cannot believe, I knew it was going to be something good, but I'm shocked every time when we present the baby to someone.
Some critics argue an adult with memory loss is not a child and they should be treated with more dignity.
But research conducted in the United Kingdom found that people with dementia who used doll therapy were less irritable. It also reduced the need for medication. You can find more resources on doll therapy and dealing with agitation on the Alzheimer's Association website, alz.org.
Still had a perfect fit for generations.
It's like a comfortable shoe, right?
Exactly.
It may look like the background for a rom-com, but this waterfront community story runs deeper. We take you to a marina filled with tales of sloops, schooners, and stone.
But first, a circle of support.
Being around people and being like, okay, yes, that's normal. I'm experiencing that too.
For a life-changing experience filled with a range of emotions.
It can be kind of overwhelming.
We explore a class providing a safe space for new moms.
While pregnancy seems to get more attention, the time after the birth of a child is just as important.
It's called the postpartum period, and during this time, a woman's body goes through many physical and emotional changes. Most often, postpartum lasts 6 to 8 weeks after delivery or until a mother's body returns to its pre-pregnancy state. But symptoms and changes that occur during this period can last longer. Studies show people don't talk very much about the postpartum period, and it might leave new moms feeling lonely or unprepared.
In Portland, Oregon, a special community is giving new mothers tools, support, and answers they need to navigate this new chapter in their lives.
Reporter Rielle Crichton takes us to New Mom School.
Hold the breath for 1, 2.
Becoming a new parent is joyful.
And just start to gently flutter your eyes open.
And life-changing.
We'll just orient back into the space that we're in here.
And for anyone who's been there, you know it can also be really, really hard.
Last night he slept in his crib in his room for the first time.
And we all thrive.
Welcome to New Mom School in Lake Oswego, a postnatal education program where moms, paired with babies by birth month, come together once a week for a special class.
Being around people and being like, okay, yes, that's normal. I'm experiencing that too.
A circle of support for a new world with a wave of emotions from worry to anxiety and so many questions.
Is he fed enough? Is he, is he gaining weight? Is he not gaining weight?
Catherine Ramos is taking the class with her 6-month-old Wesley.
As a first-time mom, it can be kind of overwhelming. So I think coming to a class can help find community and some camaraderie with, the sleepless nights and trying solids for the first time and navigating rollings.
For another new mommy, Ember Farnham-Alavi and 7-month-old baby Kurosh.
Or go to his bassinet and hold my hand in front of his nose and be like, is he breathing? It's very scary.
It's a community that offers what she and so many other moms need now more than ever, reassurance.
I mean, there's still things that scare me, but just like having this group has really helped to alleviate the worst of those fears.
Any minute they're going to be crawling. So I recommend you start by getting really low on your floor and seeing what they can have access to when they start crawling.
As part of the 8-week course, it's a different speaker each week to focus on one aspect of early childhood development.
It makes it so moms can actually get help solving those things.
New Mom School, the brainchild of Liberty Plank. Plank first saw the concept elsewhere, bringing the school to the Portland area, born out of a time during the pandemic when she needed help, advice after the birth of her first child, and there was no place to turn.
The biggest thing moms ask me is like advice on different products or like how do I cut their nails. I had my mom asked me yesterday, like I cut her finger and it bled and I was crying, just upset. And like, how do you do it? What do you use?
She says motherhood can feel isolating. Plank says it's not just about bonding with baby, it's about connecting with other moms all in the same phase.
Goodbye, Lucas. Goodbye, Lucas.
And who are all in this together.
We'll see you again next time. I think the two things that I really hope that moms leave with is confidence in themselves as a mom and also friends.
Goodbye.
The Cleveland Clinic says postpartum recovery, like pregnancy, is unique. There isn't a one-size-fits-all scenario and timeline. If you have concerns about how you're healing or how you feel, it's best to contact your healthcare provider.
Up next, overflowing with history.
Do you ever look out here and wonder what it was like in 1810?
Yeah. I do that a lot.
We meet a woman inspired by a New England shoreside community and its rich stories. From the arrival of the Pilgrims in Plymouth in 1620 to the present, coasts of New England have been the sites of history and home bases for American commerce.
Maritime history and industry are on display in every state. Even landlocked Vermont has the 120-mile-long Lake Champlain. In the late 1990s, the federal government briefly recognized this body of water as the nation's 6th Great Lake. But less than 3 weeks after the bill passed, its status was rescinded.
Despite its brush with greatness, Lake Champlain remains a corridor for exploration. Reporter Joe Carroll introduces us to a woman keeping its 400-year-old history alive.
For being one of the narrowest parts of Lake Champlain, Chipman Point in Orwell is overflowing with history.
This was where all the goods landed.
In the 1800s, this was a booming maritime community within shouting distance of New York State.
Okay.
Pat Allum should know. For the last 32 years, she, along with her son Chip, have run Chipman Point Marina.
They unloaded from the boats into the building through these doorways. That second floor was more like a grocery store, and this was the first building that went up.
Built in 1810, the stone building was quarried from the property.
So these are original beams?
Yes, yeah.
Merchandise from that era was stored and shipped from here.
Do you ever look out here and wonder what it was like in 1810?
Yeah. I do that a lot.
To the right of the first building, a newer building of sorts.
This is the 1824 building.
4 stories of stone.
I would love it if somebody could tell me how they did it.
Okay.
For the last almost 100 years, it's been a store.
One of Pat's jobs is to keep the candy on the counter and the coffee flowing. Still just 25 cents for a cup of joe. And what's left of the floor is original.
Previous owner that had it for 50 years used to chew tobacco, and that's where it went. Yeah, he was a character.
Steve Lynch has been docking his boat here for a few years.
What a unique field.
Yeah.
Living history.
On the shores of Pat's property, even more history. Evidence of people living here long before the Europeans arrived.
It wasn't really a cave, but it was enough that they could spend the winter in there, out of the weather, and probably still get fish. It's just amazing how people thrived.
The 83-year-old lives on the 3rd floor of the 1824 building.
Do you find peace here?
Yes, I love traveling, but then I love coming home too. People have said it feels like home, which I love to hear. We've had weddings here and all sorts of things.
It's like a comfortable shoe, right?
Exactly.
A perfect fit for generations to come.
Yeah, I don't feel that I own it. I feel that I've been lucky enough to live here.
What struck me in that is you look at the scenery and just the history there. Having a wedding there would be so beautiful, especially during the summer when it's not too cold, right?
It made me wish I had a boat.
Really? You want to go a boat out there? I know.
I'd love to get a boat and park it right out there.
That would be very nice. That's it for us here on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus, medical experts say a common aerosol spray is putting teens' lives in danger.
I think a lot of kids just look at this as, well, it's not drugs. We're not doing drugs, so it's not that big of a deal and we can get a high from it.
A heartbroken family warns of the risk. Plus, we examine inhalant abuse and hear from those fighting to restrict access.